Yes, we'll let the music play. Hello, hello, come on in. I'm gonna let our intro play. I love my beat. So mellow. I'm gonna sip some tea as we talk. Hello, everyone. You have tuned in to IITG Season Sisters Speak. I'm your girl, Victorianne Russell Walton, aka Maryland's Big Diva. I have my co-host with me, Warren. Wrong way. Warren. Warren is always by my side. And today we have another great guest in the house, Melissa Lyons. We're going to, the topic initially was grief, but we had a little conversation and we're going to talk some about grief, but she's going to help you turn that frown upside down, as we say, and help you find your happy place when dealing with grief. So we are going to hop right into it. We have a couple of commercials that we're going to talk about, and then we're going to get started. Now, look, everybody, I don't know if you know or not, but your girl was turned into a superhero. Yes, I was turned into a superhero from Fable, the Virginia Beach Cancer Foundation. I will be one of the four. That's a commercial. You see me sitting in the chemo chair, and then you see me stand up with a flat stomach and a bad outfit. Your girl looks good. I was shocked. So check that link out. Also, with the American College of Surgeons, there's a video out on their toolkit that's also on the website you can check out. Lots of great information. I'm featured in that as well. I was also featured on Good Morning Washington, Washington, that will air October 27th. I will be on WTOP on October 13th. I will be at the Pennsylvania Avenue Health Department health party next Saturday. I'm featured on NBCnews.com. I'll send you that link. I will also be with AARP Sisters Magazine. I will send you that link. This Saturday with LL Class Act Production. I was featured in their magazine. They're doing a magazine release this Saturday. So if you want a copy, let me know. But the link is also on all our social media. Oh my gosh, what else? I was with Pushing Pedals. You can look at the speech that I gave with them. Awesome opportunity to get out there on your bikes and exercise. And last night I was with AAHP Virtual Wellness Program as their guest speaker. I will also be with Nevin um, with Jackie Entertainments, I believe, next Thursday. And there's a few other surprises going on, but that is enough according to my husband. So I am going to get my staff and wave the wand because the girl is exhausted, but I'm having the time of my life. As a two-time breast cancer survivor, it is important for us to share good news, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to let people know that we live, we're scarred, we're broken, we're bruised, but we're still here. And if you're still here, that means you have work to do, and it's positive work. You can be sad and unhappy and cry later on, but you need to show the people in their community, as a survivor and as a cancer survivor and as a COVID survivor, what it looks like. And it looks like this, sugar, and she looks good. She feels good and she looks good. I have a wonderful support team that I want to shout out, and for especially my husband. But this is what we need to share in the community: good news about cancer, good news about people passing on. Let me tell you about the good news about a funeral. One, it brings a family together so that we can discuss health disparities. What do we do to combat this so the next family member doesn't die of diabetes, doesn't die of heart attack, doesn't die of cancer, doesn't die of heart issues? All of these things we need to have a discussion. Unfortunately, we get together at funerals only now for some of us. So that's the time to talk about it. What's the good news, Vicky? Discuss a plan. Discuss eating healthy. Get together and walk. You know, get Aunt Ella May and get Aunt Lula and everybody go for a family walk. There's a way that we can combat this unhappiness and build a support team. Sometimes you need to talk to someone. So we're going to hop into it. Those are all my commercials. Again, IITG Season Sister Speak. I'm Victorianne Russell Walton with my man Warren Green, and Melissa Lyons is in the house. Melissa, how are you? And thank you for agreeing to be on the show today.
I'm great. I feel tired after your introduction with all the things you do. Oh, thank you.
I've
I'm
got to
happy
get
to be
those.
here.
Got to get the commercials out. Got to get the commercials out.
Wow.
Yeah, been very busy and very blessed, and there's a lot going on. And while we have the attention this month, let's get that attention. So, and you're going to be a big part of that today. So, tell the people who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm now an international best-selling author and I'm an
Mhm.
intuitive life coach. And so I really help people see the best that they can see in every situation and every circumstance they're faced with. That's what I do pretty much every day now. But I've come from the dark side to get here, so it's been a long journey. But
Yeah.
that's how I fill my days now on the other side of darkness, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Hmm.
I've read your story and I read all about you. And when I read you, I said, I've got to get her on my show. Because, we, a lot of times we don't know how to express ourselves and how to deal with things and how to ask for help and how to deal with our emotions. We bottle them up, especially men, and we don't know how to express ourselves. So I am going to allow you a lot of leeway today because I really want you to share all of the knowledge, and an hour is not enough time. So let's get started with this. Tell them your experience and what you went through.
Well, it's funny when you're going through an experience, you don't really realize where it starts because you don't actually know where you are. So, to sum it up, the day that it really stopped and came to a point where there was a no return for me was I'd sold a business that I'd built from the ground up and I'd spent 11 years doing it. And at the time that I sold it, I had ticked off all of the boxes of my goals that I would probably have wanted to have. I was physically healthy, a healthy family, a good marriage, enough money, money to be able to choose what I would do next. Like I had everything that a person would want, and I was um I was so just unfulfilled and I lost myself somewhere
Mhm.
along the way. And my husband one day said to me, he's like, "Are you ever going to be happy?" And I looked at him and I said, "I don't know. I don't know if that's in the
Wow.
stars for me." I was 47 years old at the time. So yeah, it was a really awakening moment for me. And I realized at that moment that like I said, I lost myself somewhere along the way. And people go through really hard times in their life, and if you look at them, they have a reason to be sad, or they have a reason to feel sorry for themselves, or they have a reason to be coming from that place. I didn't have a good enough reason to feel that way, which made me feel even worse. So that's where I found myself, and then I began the process of rebuilding from the ground up.
Well, how did you do it? What steps did you take to rebuild yourself?
Well, I think the first thing I did was I cried a lot. I felt really sorry for myself enough that I realized that I couldn't get much lower. And I reached out and I went and started seeing someone on the spiritual side, not religious, but spiritual. And I walked into her and she said to me, "Melissa, what brings you what brings you in? What is it?" And I said to her, "I think that I've lost, I don't know who I am anymore. And if I don't know who I am, my husband doesn't know me, my children don't know me, my parents don't know me. Like I had this realization that I'd probably been living a lie. And I don't mean a deceitful lie, but I'd been living a life that didn't resonate with me, that really wasn't a life that made me come alive. And so I started to unpack that and figure out where along the way I lost myself."
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And then you took steps to correct it, or
Yeah, well, the first thing that I did was I gave myself, well, with the support of my family, 3 months off to really figure out what was going on. So I started a practice of journaling, meditating, and just really reading books and exploring it. And I also was able to not have any responsibilities, which is unheard of. So, like, can you imagine the gift, Warren? Like, I was given like 3 months to do whatever I needed to do. And I got about 3 days into it, and I was so overwhelmed with guilt. Like I wasn't being a mother, I wasn't being a wife, I wasn't showing up, I wasn't working. And that was the first really big thing that I realized was that I had to stop trying to control life and I had to stop trying to make things happen and force things. And I just learned to, well, I thought I was learning to let it unfold. And I did that for 3 months.
Wow. That's amazing that they allowed you that time. We're having some technical difficulties in my studio, but you can still hear me, and we're doing great, everyone. So you're gonna have to excuse my picture, but she's still here. So for them to allow you to find yourself, a lot of people get lost and they don't know what their next steps are. Tell them how can you focus? I heard the journal. So what did you do? What steps did you take to help you focus?
Well, I'm going to answer that question, but I have to tell you one really important thing first. So at the end of the 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
I went to my spiritual person, and I said to her, I don't feel any better. I haven't found myself. This isn't working. And I was so angry. If you can believe it, I had 3 months to have all this peaceful time, and I was angry.
Wow.
And she looked at me and she said, and that's not the way it is. The harder you try, the longer this is going to take.
Hmm.
And that was my first realization that we cannot force the things. And Vicki, as I read some of the things about you, and I know, like, it's that being present in the moment. I was always 2 steps or 3 steps or 5 years ahead of my life, wanting, planning, and never being here.
Huh.
So, like, imagine if we hold a handful of water, right?
Right.
If your life is this handful of water and you want more of your life, so you start to squeeze it and pressure it. Well, when you squeeze a handful of water, what happens?
Squeezes out.
Yeah, you lose it.
You lose it.
And I was literally, until that point, squeezing the life out of me with
Wow.
the pressure I was putting on myself to figure out who I was, to figure out what it was like, what is my purpose? And so anyway, so then I spent the next 30 months after that trying to undo everything that I had done for the first 47 years of my life.
Well,
Mm.
how did your family handle that? That's because they had to make adjustments also, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah, they did. But you know what? I'm so much nicer now. So it worked. I became, I showed up differently for them. So it was hard for us. I have to say, my kids at the time, I'm trying to think when I was 47. So they would have been 20, 18 and 20. No, 20 and 22 years old at that time. So I don't know. Anyway, they were old enough. And so they were able to see. And I realized that I was giving them a gift too as young women because, you know, they have to know that if their life's not working out, that they matter enough at some point in their life to figure it out for them,
Right.
because we're all responsible for our own lives.
We are.
Yeah, so they handled it. They handled it as well as could be expected. But in the process, I think they learned that they have their own freedom
Mm-hmm.
to show up for themselves. But I did so as I learned to let go of control and to truly let life unfold. I learned to surrender. That
Mm-hmm.
word used to bug me. Now it lights me up.
Really?
And I didn't have faith and trust. I believed in God and spirit, but I didn't have faith and trust that everything would be okay regardless of what happened. And I have that now. And I think that process of journaling and meditating and just not stopping, just keep exploring.
I guess I wouldn't have guessed that you had adult children. So I was
Yeah.
looking. So maybe that kind
Yeah.
of threw me off. I was thinking you had maybe small children
Yeah.
and a lot of household responsibilities and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they were older, but I think that even if you have young children, there's got to be a way when we lose ourselves and we lose our grounding and we're just floating out there, that is when different things happen to us
Right.
and we get knocked off our feet.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to get knocked down in order to get back up and find your way. Sometimes I think I heard someone say one time, I fell down and I looked up at the sky and it dawned on me, I never look at the sky. And I think they said they laid there for an hour just watching the clouds and the birds, and it was so peaceful. They've never done that before, and now they make that a part of their stress reliever. When the world gets to be too much, they just lay down on the floor or on the ground and they just take a minute. And it's the small things in life that we miss that can bring us so much joy. But just like you said, your children probably think you're nicer now, and your children will feed off of your energy. What you give is what you're giving to them. I always leave David when I drop him off in the morning at school. I always leave him on a positive note before he goes to the door. I yell, David is amazing, or I'll yell, big boys do big things, or mommy believes in you and you're going to be amazing. I always leave him with something. I never want him to go in mad, sad, unhappy. It's so important for me for him to go in smiling for lots of reasons, but there's shootings at these schools. These kids are facing things we've never had to face before. So it's important that we give them positive energy. And what we give off is what they eat. So I like all of that. But it sounds like you really have found your purpose and you found your happy place.
I really have. And, I hearing you say that, I always felt that way too. And I was very positive with my girls doing that as they would leave. But, I was serving them from an empty cup or a half empty cup all those years.
Wow.
But I didn't, I didn't know that my cup could be filled. And so I think that's the big message for people is like, if you are like mindlessly just going through the motions of your life, you have to know that you are meant for more and there is more for you. Because as much as I knew it, I didn't think I would ever have access to it. I didn't know how I would get there because I was so lost in my own fears and my own anxiety, my own worries, my own limiting beliefs and self-doubt. And the thing is, I don't know if, when we had the technical difficulty, sometimes if someone, did you hear me say, sometimes if you've had cancer twice, you've come through something so remarkable.
Right.
I didn't have anything that was important enough to feel sorry for myself for, which made me feel so much worse. And I think some people are like that too.
Yeah. It's with this cancer treatment, the first time and the second time, I thank God that I had the parents that I had that did not allow me to pity myself. I don't do well with pity and I don't cry. So when I do cry, you need to run. If something is really wrong, but I do allow myself to process and to get the anger out and to get the feelings out. But to me, if you go deep, you'll stay deep. And you'll miss out on awesome opportunities. Like with my cancer, this is the opportunity to reach women and men and to talk to women and men about resources and surviving and being the best that you can be. Cancer is just one thing. People leave this earth every day that don't have issues with cancer. So I don't focus on it. I find my happy place, and my happy place is helping others. That's where I get my most joy from. And so let's talk about, how do we find our happy place? What do we do?
I can chime in when I'm an 82-year-old, 16-year cancer survivor.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed, so that's my story. But I kind of programmed myself, and I guess I started doing it when I was a lot younger, when I would develop a 10-year program. Here's what I expect to achieve in 10 years. And then I can monitor quality control, if you will, how I'm doing with that program. As I got older, I kind of diminished it. Now I do year to year. I don't dare do 5 years because I don't even know if I'll be around. I like to think I'm on borrowed time. So now I do a year. When I got to be 80, I said, well, we'll go year to year or 2 years a year. Prior to that, I was doing maybe 3 years. I knew that I was going to have 12 blood tests during those years where they're looking for the cancer, because I've never been in remission. My cancer's always been detectable. I do 3 bone scans. I look at my blood work and I kind of gather enough information to provide to my doctors as to what we are going to do there. I use my doctors as my support team. I'm the director and I'm conducting this whole operation. I think that when cancer people decide, well, I'm fighting this, well, how are you fighting it? Or are you handing it over to your doctor to fight? Because what are you doing to fight? Now, what I like to think is I contribute to the fight by saying, here's some things, or here's the nutrition you might need for your quality of life, or to make your body work better, or to strengthen your immune system so that you can fight this cancer. Because medicine doesn't cure anything, and medicine only arrests what happened, where you are, and then now it's up to your body to take it from there. If you keep doing the same thing, well, you still keep doing. You're not going to improve yourself.
Right. You're not.
So it's all programming. I like to think. So I'm never depressed because I kind of understand what's happening and what I have to do. And I say, well, where am I in my quality control? What am I doing wrong? I'll look at my blood work. I'll look at all of that to see what am I doing wrong. Something's happening. It's not, everything is not random.
There's a cause, like you say, cause and effect.
Yes. And I'm a disciple of that.
And Melissa, we've got so many questions for you. Listen, everybody, thank you for tuning in. This is IITG Season Sisters Speak. Thank you, everyone on all social media and those that will share later on. I see your questions. We're going to get to them, but we're going to have a conversation right now because I am so excited to speak with Ms. Lyons, and I see your questions, and a lot of them are the same about your happy place. I always say, find your happy place and stay there. But for a lot of people, as I'm reading, that's not always an option, especially now that we have been isolated for 24 months. Some of us don't know how to deal with others. And we've been in this pickle of sadness for such a long time and loneliness. We don't know what to do. So I get the question. So one of the things you said, Melissa, was it took you a while to find your happy place. And you went through the steps. So what made you channel in on what you're doing? How did you get to that point?
Well, I think the thing that I didn't understand was like that there's no there. Wherever you think you're going to be, once you get there, you're still going to be here, right? You never get anywhere. So the understanding that I had to get happy inside myself was a really tough pill to swallow, so to speak. So that first thing is having the understanding that our happiness does come from our heart, not from our head, and not from where we are, what's around us. It's what we're thinking and how we're feeling about what we're thinking. And Warren, you're amazing. I love your story, and you had a plan, and I love that. And I too now have a plan. Like when people used to say, "What's defines success for me?" That was always the worst question I ever had as I went from job to job to job throughout my career, because I was always searching for happiness somewhere else. And I couldn't answer that question. Then one day in an interview, someone said, "How do you define happiness?" And I thought, oh my goodness, the answer just came to me. I'll know I've been success. I'll know I've been successful when a year from now, I'm incrementally happier every day than I was a year before. And if every day I'm incrementally happier than the day before, with ups and downs, of course, along the way, that's where I think success comes. So I think as we start to define ourselves by intentions and how you want to feel and what you want to experience, it gets a lot easier, Vicki. Like you said earlier, eating healthy is important to you, right?
Right.
And it is important. Do you remember, did you guys, so I'm Canadian. I don't know if you know that. So we used to say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Does that transcend the border?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And so we used to say that to kids, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So if you eat healthy, you should be healthy, all things considered. So think about your thoughts as thought nutrition. And if an apple a day can keep you physically healthy, what about the power of your thoughts? And we have thoughts that can make us healthy and expand our happiness. And then we have thoughts that keep us restrictive. So it's like we can have nutritious and nourishing thoughts, or we can have junk food thoughts.
Right.
And if we feed ourselves a diet of junk food thoughts, we are going to stay feeling sad or feeling depressed or feeling hopeless. So recognizing that you need to feed your mind healthy thoughts is, I think, an important step.
I like that. And look, you guys that are calling me on the cell phone, she's not answering your questions from the cell phone. You need to inbox me. They're always cheating, Ms. Lyons, always trying to find a shortcut. So you know what? This is IITG Season Sisters Speak. I'm your host, Victorianne Walton, aka Maryland's Big Diva. I've got my man Warren Green with me, and our guest today is Melissa Lyons. We're going to take this opportunity. Ms. Lyons, would you tell them how to get in contact with you?
Yes, my website is Melissa-Lyons, Lyons.com.
Awesome. And Warren, tell them how to get in contact with you.
Well, I'm on Facebook. You can get in touch with me through Vicki. I'm probably on LinkedIn, and if you Google me, you'll find me. I've written many articles articles for the Albemarle Trade Winds magazine.
Yeah.
There's 10 years worth of articles, one a month. There's about 100 of them, hundreds of them out there. It's all over the place. At 82, I'm all over the place. I just like to make something clear. Life is full of ebbs and flows. It never goes even. You're gonna have ups. You're gonna have downs. You're gonna have times when you're happy. You wouldn't even recognize happy if you were always happy. So
Right.
you're gonna have some downtime, uptown time. It's always like that, and that's just the way it is. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be bad. I was in Washington, and every time a new president came in, things were going to change, and things did change. But it's always a life is never static. It's always going to be ebbs and flows, always.
Yeah, it is.
And you must adjust for that and understand that it's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be life and death. My mother used to say, when people die, they're making room for the new people that are coming in.
Right. That's what they always say. The old spirit brings in for the new one. Speaking of spirits, we're going to hop into some questions because I don't want us to run out of time. So one of the questions, Melissa, for you is, you talk about your happy place. I've noticed that I have a shopping problem, but the more I shop, the miserable I am. Material things, I keep trying to fill this hole. I don't know what to fill the hole with. We don't know what to fill the hole with either.
Well, I think that, I always say this. This is one of my favorite lines. And it's kind of like what Warren said, the ebbs and flows. When you feel yucky, you're really quite lucky.
Yeah.
And what I mean when I say that is that when you are feeling kind of yucky, like you're saying, you're feeling a bit of a hole, that's your personal guidance system telling you that you are misaligned from the beauty of your soul and your true meaning in life. So as soon as you're feeling yucky, you're so lucky because it's like the ding saying ding, ding, ding. You've departed from where you're supposed to be. Come back. And of course, but when we're there, we don't know how to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So the way to know how to come back, I would recommend, is to journal for the person. Like, buy yourself some beautiful journals and some really nice pens and just sit and write. And if you don't know what to write, then one day I didn't know what to write the other day. And so I wrote for a whole page the word yes, all in cursive. And I didn't take my pen off. And for like 3 minutes, I just wrote yes, 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 yes. And then you kind of lose where you are. And then you can write anything. You don't have to write sentences. You can just write words. And just start to write, and you'll be amazed what comes out. And then do this regularly, and you'll be getting your own answers.
I love that. Warren is a big fan of journaling. Warren has me journaling now. I journaled during my cancer treatment because, some of my sisters could take what I needed to say, and some of my sisters couldn't handle me crying. So I would write in my journal, I hate today. I didn't like yesterday. I miss my hair. I miss my toenails. I would journal those things because I really didn't have the outlet that I needed to scream, So I get that. And journaling will allow you sometimes to say what you need to say that you can't say to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You need to always be adjusting your perspective.
Yeah.
Your downtime, you should never be bored. You always have something to do, particularly if you have a disease.
Yeah.
I mean, I promised myself I would absolutely have more information than my doctor could possibly have. He doesn't have time to read like I have time to read, and we're talking about me. So I'm going to read everything that's available, and they publish everything in the world now. Right. So I can read everything that's available for my conditions, and you're always making an adjustment. And as you get older, you're always going to have to adjust even more. When you're young, your body's gonna neutralize most things. When you get older, you have to start adjusting.
Right.
The systems in your body, your nervous system, your digestive system, your circulatory system, what your blood looks like, what everything looks like. And you always got to make adjustments. I don't see how you can have time to be bored or feeling sorry for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I do, because I have been there.
Yeah.
Well, you're still young, so you.
But I mean, I agree with you. But you're really special. And to be 82 and being on here the way you are, that's really special. And I don't think we should be bored, but some people get bored because they haven't learned how to look outside themselves.
That they haven't
inside. So
their perspective.
You're so right. Yeah. So the next time you're bored, get journaling or reading.
Find out what's going on. What is happening? What is your plan? How could you be bored when you probably didn't have a plan?
Yeah. And that's what the next question, it leads right into that. It says, I'm an emotional eater, and I know that. I will eat everything in the kitchen, and then I'm sad because I've eaten everything in the kitchen. I'm trying to fill a void. So how did you get from, hold on, let me get a question. So how did you get from sadness to journaling to happiness? I can't write anything. I don't want, okay. She's going on and on. So I guess the bottom line of her question is, she's an emotional eater. What can she try to find to substitute it? That's what she's asking. That's a hard question to answer because we don't know what you're sad about. Sometimes you need a professional to come in through the front door to talk to you. Right, Melissa?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, so I have this course that I offer we can give it to people for free, and it's called I Have a Choice. Okay. And it takes about an hour to go through, and all of your listeners can, we'll give a link that they can come on through and they can download it. And in that course, I Have a Choice, it has people decide what their response is going to be. And it has them get a little bit serious about how they want to feel. And it takes them through some really easy steps. And it will help her understand herself more, understand maybe her source of sadness. And she can decide if she does need to talk to someone professionally or if she can work through the process, which will get her started on what Warren's saying, on a plan. So this, I have a choice, because people say, I don't have a choice. Like, I woke up today and I have cancer, or I have COVID. It's like, well, maybe you didn't, like, now that you're here, your choice is where you go from here, right?
Right.
And so this will help them put a plan together. And it's
awesome.
It's really
food has substances.
Sorry?
Has substances that will depress you.
Yeah.
In the food. So food can't possibly be a pathway out of depression.
Right. It can't. And you're just going to gain weight, and then that's going to make you even sadder. So you need to find out you need to find out the root of what makes you sad. And then, maybe go for a walk or,
look for the cause.
Yeah.
It's all cause and effect. What is the cause? Why am I sad?
Yeah.
And if it's an unfulfillment, it's probably because you don't have a plan.
Yeah. You need a plan. So Melissa, we said we weren't going to dwell on it, but let's touch on this briefly with dealing with the loss, because there's a lot of that going on right now. Like I said, last week I had 3 funerals to go to. This week I have 3. Next week I have 4. And this is a lot to process, because you want to be there for your loved one and you want to be there for your friends and family, but it can be a little overwhelming. For those that are feeling overwhelmed, what do you suggest doing? What steps?
Well, I think the first thing, so we're talking about the person who's going through the grief right now. Is this what we're talking about specifically?
Right, correct.
Yeah. So I want to refer to one of the things I read about you. You had said one time when you were feeling very sad and your mother said you had 5 minutes to cry. And I loved when I read that. Now, I'm not suggesting anybody has 5 minutes to cry, but I think that you need, sorry?
I said correct.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that. However, the idea of doing something consciously with a decision, with a plan. So be sad, sit in your grief, journal again about what you love, what you remembered, what's making you sad, what's making you angry, and get it on paper, get it out and sit in it. Yeah. But also plan to celebrate, plan to remember good things, plan to feel better. And then it's that thing about thought nutrition. It's the same thing when you look in the cupboard and you're going to eat something healthy or something not healthy. As you pay attention to how you're feeling in your mind, and it comes out with feeling yucky. When you're feeling yucky, decide how long you're going to stay there before you start adding some better feeling thoughts, some better feeling memories. Yeah. And do it on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do it on purpose.
Yeah.
It would probably be interesting to describe in your journal how you feel. Exactly how you feel. What is it? What is the expression of sadness? Yeah. How document your sadness, and then look at it
and be honest. That's your journal. So be honest. Let all your emotions out. You don't have to do a fake journal.
No.
Make it your real journal with your real emotions and what you really want to say. And then talk to yourself. Look, Vicky, today you were really sappy. I need you to get a grip on life and find a happy place because today was not it. I mean, that's how I used to talk to myself. Or, okay, you don't have any hair. This is crazy. You're absolutely bald, but you're still beautiful. I would tell myself, you still that chick. And my sisters would. I had a conversation yesterday with Dr. Nancy, and she said her girlfriends would say, "You're still beautiful." And she looked at the pictures from when she was going through her cancer treatment, and she said, "They lied. I was an ugly duckling. I was so ugly, but they lied to me." And that made me feel good at that moment. So sometimes, and she said, at first I was mad at them, but then I was like, you know what? I needed that lie. So I'm so glad they lied, but you don't lie to yourself. Put your real emotions down on paper and say how you really feel and get it out. Holding on to your emotions will make you sick.
Beauty is a perception in itself. At 82, I'm the last one standing in my friends and my family. I'm the oldest of a family, a big family, and there was 8 of us. Now there's 3 of us left. I understand that, but it ebbs and flows. I mean, if I'm the last one standing, right, why wouldn't I be happy about being the last one standing? Yeah. I understand that I should have grief, but some of my family was suffering. The suffering I hated. I really didn't want them to suffer, so it was okay that they passed on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, Melissa, right? Being okay with letting go.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, being okay with letting go because there's things outside of our control, obviously, but we want to control them. And then that in itself tightens us up, which can cause all of that. And I also think, Vicki, it's important about the people who you surround yourself with.
Yes.
Like we all, like ebb and flow, we all can be sad sometimes, but you want to be around happy, hopeful, healthy thinking people.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I surrounded myself with prayer warriors. I blocked numbers. I blocked email. If you weren't speaking life into me, I didn't want to hear it. And to this day, I still don't want to hear it. I want to hear nothing but good vibes, and I want to hear nothing but positivity. I don't want you telling me who died in your family of cancer. I don't want you telling me who fell out with cancer. I only want to hear good things because people leave this earth every day that had no cancer issues. So cancer will not take me out. God will call me home. When God calls me, I'm leaving. And I'm pretty sure it will have nothing to do with cancer. So you're absolutely right. You have to surround those that love you enough to hold you up, to carry you when you can't carry yourself. And that's another thing I want to talk about. You can be selfish right now. You can be so selfish and love yourself so much. I tell people all the time, "Oh, Vicki, you're always so confident." I'm not confident. I have my moments. When I have those moments, I get a sister on the phone. It's like, "Look, I'm just thinking and I just need something." We tell each other, we just give me something positive. Tell me a joke. Make me laugh right now. Those are the people that you need in your corner, and you have a right to be selfish, especially when you need it. Take a nap if you need it. Lay down for a minute, have a quiet moment, go outside and look at the birds, look at the butterflies, talk to Jesus, look at the clouds. You have a right to be selfish and to love yourself. We don't love ourselves enough.
That's so true. That's so true. And the word selfish is so misunderstood, or maybe it's been redefined. And you see, as the generations that are coming after us, they don't see selfish as anything negative like we did. And in fact, do you remember when I said to you, you would say to your son, like, "Have a wonderful day," and be all this. And I would do the same, but I was serving from a half full cup. Yeah. Those days it was a half empty cup. And so, I needed to spend that time. I wanted to add one more thing too. And my dear mom, who's alive and well, may watch this, and we're close. But my mother, to this day, and has said since as long as I can remember, to me and my children, with all of the faith in the world, life only gets worse.
Wow.
So, Anybody listening, because we're all happy here, and you
Yep.
might be listening, getting really frustrated, and I hear you, because my friends didn't get raised with life only gets worse. And to this day, I say to her, please stop saying that. But she thinks it, and her life isn't bad. But I was brought up with that constant reminder that life will only get worse. You'll get older, you get sicker, you'll die, your friends will die, you're blah, 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 blah. And it's like, and it goes on. There's a narrative to it. And so if you are living in that place where you've come from a narrative like that, you can change that story.
Yeah.
You just have to rewrite it. And that starts with one word, and then two, and then three.
And that's what you did. That's what you did.
I think it's okay to isolate too. I don't mind being. I came from a big family, so that might be the reason. But every once in a while, I like to meditate and I like to isolate, and I don't really want a whole lot of folks around. I like to be like a hermit and be able to do for as long as I need to while I'm developing my plan.
Wow.
Because
And
you have to develop your plan. If you have too much activity, you can't develop a plan.
And that's another good point. And that was another question too. Being quiet, one of the questions was, I don't know how to be quiet. How can I quiet my mind? Let me tell you what I do before I go to bed, because a lot of times when you're laying down, you're thinking about your day. What did I forget to do? I write everything down because it takes it out my mind onto paper. And so I know tomorrow I have my goal or check off list of what I need to do once I write it down and get it out my head. That helps my mind relax. That helps me sleep. So maybe you need to your quiet place can start with you writing down your goals for the next day. Don't do the week. Just do reachable goals the next day, and whatever you're thinking about, put it down on that paper so that you won't forget it, and you can check it off tomorrow if you wake up, God willing. So what do you think about that, Melissa?
I think that's wonderful. And I think you can do the same thing in the morning too. Wait, before you go to bed at night, get it all out of your mind. And if you're a younger generation, you can type it into your text. If you're our generation, we're going to have a pen and paper.
Yeah.
And then in the morning, wake up. What are the things that are important today so that you're not carrying them all day? Now they're physically outside of you. I think that's really important. The other thing that you can do is just do it in short sprints, 3 minutes at a time. Just 3 minutes, not 30.
Yeah.
3 minutes, put a little bit of music on. You can quiet your mind in a drumming circle too. It doesn't have to be silence. It just means just think about one thing. Just think about your breath. Just think about your tapping, whatever it is, but just one thing.
I like that. What say you, Warren?
Well, I like to think of what you're trying to accomplish, and then what you're trying to accomplish, and then here's your goal. Like I said, I like to look at things like I have a year plan so that I can quality control what's going on.
Right.
I have to be more or less day to day because I have to make sure all the systems are right. Am I getting my proper nutrients? Am I getting my mental nutrients, as Melissa was saying? Am I getting the food? I consider food medicine. I try to make sure that I have that proper balance. Am I getting my proper minerals, my proper fatty acids, my proper everything? Because anytime I don't do that, I know that I don't feel good when I don't do that, and when I don't execute my
and all of those
agenda.
things go hand in hand. The mental goes with the spiritual, goes with the physical, goes with the emotional, goes with all of those things, and that leads to the next question. I take my kids out the house and we go for a walk so that we're not on neutral grounds and we can have open discussions. My son is very angry and he doesn't know why. Journaling doesn't help. Should I get him a baseball bat and let him go at it with a tree?
Maybe.
How old is he?
Yeah.
How old is he?
I don't know. She just says they go for a walk and he's very angry. Well, the world is very angry right now.
Yeah.
Well, you can anger is you absolutely should be able to identify anger. You have to be able to identify anger. And I don't know that that's so difficult, particularly if it's somebody that you know and you can observe. You can know what's angry.
Well, she's
what the
teaching
angers
her
are.
why,
Source. Yeah.
why and what to do with it. Should she let him get a baseball bat and take it out on the tree? Well, first of all, a tree is a living thing. So no, because if he takes that baseball bat to a tree, he'll probably take it to the car, and then it'll be the neighbors, and then it'll be the cat, the dog, and the fish. So I say no.
But that's only going to dissipate the energy, but the anger is still there.
It is.
So
It is.
you have to determine what the anger,
Yeah.
or when you have an emotion like that, you're getting all kind of chemical reactions in your body. It's going to damage you.
Yeah. Yeah. How much sugar are you eating?
All of those things. And I took it sort of metaphorically, like, yeah, like punch into a scream into a pillow. But if he doesn't want to write, maybe he wants to act, maybe he wants to sing, maybe he wants to dance, maybe he wants to run. Like, journaling is one way. Maybe he wants to do like a video blog, like a vlog.
Yeah.
And get it out some way. Like, I personally would rather talk than write sometimes.
What the cause is.
Yeah.
You have to know what you're angry about before you try to correct it. What is the cause of the anger? How do you correct something?
And that's a good point. And you also, maybe you need to do a 101 walk with him. Maybe he can't talk in front of the other siblings. Or maybe the dad, or maybe a male figure needs to talk with him. Or maybe something happened and he doesn't know how to tell you. You know, the way of the world is today, these kids are facing so much. We really won't know, between the shootings and the stabbings and all this other craziness going on in the world. It sounds like you guys need to do a 101 and tell them this is a no judgment zone.
Mm-hmm,
you can say whatever you need to say to me, and it stays between us. And there's a no, or if you can't say it, write it. Here, I'm going to write you a note and I'll tell you a secret, and then you tell me a secret. Maybe that 101 needs to happen because something is there. Evidently, something has happened and he doesn't know how to relate it or relay it to you. So that could be one of the issues. But, you know, Melissa is here to give us some tidbits. We've only have an hour, so she's not going to resolve all your issues. But she's going to give us what we need to help us along the way. So it's IITG Season Sisters Speak. I'm Victorianne Russell Walton. I have Warren Green with me, and our special guest is Melissa Lyons, and she's giving us some great tidbits. So let's get back to happiness, okay? I understand we talked about eating, and we talked about spiritual, and we talked about emotional, and we talked about journaling, and we talked about let's talk about one thing we haven't talked about. And let's talk about the mind. And what I mean by the mind is when you find your happy place, being in a place where you're not. Someone said, I feel guilty when I'm happy. I'm guilty for being a survivor. I feel guilty because my sister is a quadriplegic and I can walk. And I thought about that. I was like, you feel guilty because, you know, she was born that way? She's like, Vicki, I've always felt that way. I've always felt guilty. So I've held back to make her feel accepted. No, that's not how this works. Right, Melissa? Let that happiness out. Let that guilt go. And look, you're not coming back as a butterfly. You're not coming back as a potato. You're not coming back as a caterpillar. We're only here one time, Melissa. Tell them how to let that guilt go and live.
Well, we're here to find our way to joy and to happiness. That is our role for all of us, regardless of whatever situations and circumstances that we face. And we have a choice every day and in every moment and how we respond to anything around us.
Yeah.
And that choice takes us toward or away from anything. So if we set the intention that we want to move toward joy, then all of our responses will be guided that way. Of course, if we're going to go ebb and flow, like let's not forget that. So in the case of the girl with her sister, shine your light, shine her light, like find a reason to see a new perspective. Rewrite 3 perspectives on every situation that's pulling you down and find out which one resonates with you most. It's a little bit of work. Yes. Let's face it, like, you know, you want to run a marathon, you need to train a bit. You want to run the marathon of being happy, you need to train, you need to plan. And then you need to work the plan, but you also need to not force it. Yeah. You need to allow it. You need to let it unfold. You need to, you know what? I say need. I don't mean to say need. Let me take that back. You're invited. You're invited to, because this is all an invitation for us. It's there for us. It's whether or not we choose to sample it.
Yeah, I like that. You're invited.
It's choices, choices, choices.
Yeah.
You
Every-
play the hand you're dealt.
Yeah.
Yes.
What does it? I mean, who's to say that if you're paraplegic, you're not happy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
why would you hold back your life? Because I'm pretty sure she's living hers. She's probably not holding her life back, or anyone. As a survivor, I started out with a group of 12 that we were all very close, and there's only 2 of us left.
Yeah.
And I used to have survivor's guilt, like, oh my God, she was so much younger than me. She just had a baby. She died. You call somebody else, how they doing? And, the husband was like, well, she left last night. I'm like, well, she left to go where? It's like, Vicky, she left. Like, I don't understand. Where'd she go? It's like, Vicky, she died. And it's like, really? And as the numbers went down, I used to think, well, what is my number? And it really almost shook me. But then I had to say, wait a minute, hold it. My number is whenever my number is. And our journey is what our journey is. And we're only here again for a short while. 80 years is a short while. 90 years is a short while. So enjoy your life. Do all the things. I want to go skiing. So I want that to happen. Although cold really hurts my bones, I want to go skiing. So that's on my bucket list, and I'm going to do it. I don't know when.
Yeah.
Matter can't be destroyed.
Yeah.
Matter, we are matter,
Right.
cannot be destroyed.
Right. Right.
It's eternal.
Right. And we need
It's
to
eternal.
enjoy it.
So whatever shape you are going to be in, and maybe it will be a butterfly, whatever shape matter can't be destroyed.
Yeah.
So, no new material is put on the earth to make new people.
Right.
It's all just reshaped.
Right.
Everything is recycled. Everything is recycled.
We go back to the earth.
That's life. That's the whole cycle of life.
It is. And, I cannot believe our hour is almost up. But, we've had a great topic about all of these things. But Melissa has a book on YouTube, and she wants to share some guidance and words with us. So with our last 10 minutes out, I'm Victorianne Russell Walton. I'm your host on IITG Seasoned Sisters Speak. You can reach me at 301-683-8690. Warren has told you how you can get in contact with him. If you can't find him, just reach out to me. And as long as I don't need him, he's all yours. I'm very selfish when it comes to Warren and Miss Garla. Sorry. And then Melissa, give them your information once more. And then we're going to allow you to read us your book. And we hope that those words meditate to you and reach your heart and gives you some guidance and inspiration.
Well, thank you. Yes, my website is melissa-lyons.com. And the book I'm going to read to you, can I tell you a little bit about it before I start to read it? This book it speaks to the inner child in all of us. And I thought at first it was about grief. It's about hope and love. And I thought it was for grief and loss. And it is. It deals with grief and loss. And it brings you around to hope and love. But for me, this book came to me when I was 50, and I didn't understand what it meant until I was like almost 52. So it was almost 2 years later where I had this message it was about me leaving the life that I'd been living for the first 50 years of my life and stepping into the life that I was meant to live. So leaving that supposed to life and moving into the meant to life and surrendering. So on a life-changing level, these words will speak to you. And if you've lost someone you love, you might hear them speaking to you now because they're written from the perspective of a person who's no longer physically with us here on this earth. And the book is called I Will Always Love You, and it's available also on Amazon. So it's for free on YouTube because I want the world to have it for free, but you can have your own copy.
I will always love you.
Yes. And the children have gray skin and no faces. So children from anywhere in the world, from any race, can plop themselves into these pictures. It's beautiful. I have to say, and they all have hearts. And they start out in the morning on a journey and they end at night. So it's the journey of our life. So here we go.
Here we go.
If you're reading this now and I'm far away, please pay attention. I've got something to say. I usually cry, sorry. It was my time to go and I can't explain why, but there was a reason. It was my turn to fly. And now I can see you from my new place of rest. You must understand you are still truly blessed. Realize that by letting me go, you'll give us both freedom more than you know. Believe in angels and spirits or not, but consider this, I hear all of your thoughts. Your life lies ahead and it's all very great. I'm privileged now to see all of your fate. I have one last wish, and it's part of the theme. It's you choosing to choose to follow your dream. My gifts to you include memories and love. And now you'll have more with my guidance above. I'll send you hints so you know I'm around. Pay closer attention to each sight and each sound. You might see butterflies or other clues that I leave. It could be a rainbow. You'll just have to believe. Focus on love and trust in good things. Listen to your intuition and see what life brings. Open your mind and change as you need. Embrace new directions. See where they lead. Welcome your challenges as they appear. Accept them as lessons. There's nothing to fear. They come with messages and purposes too. It's all part of your learning. They're gifts for you. See them with gratitude and understand their role. Then get back to focusing the thoughts you control. Trust your heart as you follow your dreams. It has been directed by the highest of teams. You hold the power and the answers inside. Turn into your heart. Let it be your guide. You create your world with each thought that you think. Your beliefs build your future as fast as you blink. The mind is a garden that grows flowers and weeds, and one who chooses good thoughts always succeeds. Trust me, I know advice is easy to give, but divine wisdom shows this is how you should live. Be the one who shares the light that was mine. Honor me now by letting yours shine. Trust that I'm free and home at last. Cherish each moment. Life goes by so fast. And remember, I will always love you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I dedicate that to my best friend Ramunda Lyons in the memory of her mother, Miss Marilyn Lyons. And that was so absolutely perfect and beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I dedicate that to her. And I'm going to purchase a copy for her. And that was just perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Thank you for sharing that with us. I love the words, and they were so warming and inviting and comforting, very comforting, which is something that we needed right now. So that book is perfect. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for letting me. And I want you to know I did not write those words, and we can talk about that another day, but they landed in my journal while I was writing it, and I didn't know about it.
Wow.
It's a whole different story. But so if you hear them and they speak to you from someone who's crossed and who's no longer here, chances are they are speaking to you because they came from higher than me. They
Right.
really did.
Absolutely beautiful. We thank you for that, and thank you for sharing it. And ladies and gentlemen, you can go on YouTube. I Will Always Love You, Melissa Lyons. But you can also purchase it on Amazon, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Amazon.
And I'd like to send you some copies if you ever want to do a little giveaway or a promo.
I would love that. I would
Yeah,
love that.
I'll send you a package for your audience and for your listeners.
Thank you so much. That's just perfect. I love it. That is the best way to go out. So again, our guest today was Melissa Lyons, who just brought everybody to tears with those beautiful words and guidance and instructions, and that I thank you. That's all I can say about that. Warren Green, my co-host. I'm sitting up here trying not to cry. My sister said, "Why are you crying, pretty?" I hate my sisters. But I'm Victorianne Russell Walton, and this is IITG Seasoned Sister Speak. We thank everyone again for your support and for sharing and being a part of it. All of you on social media. I forgot to say hello, Japan, konnichiwa, and hello, South Africa, bonjour, to all of those that are listening and share. So thank you again, Melissa Lyons, for being our guest today. You definitely graced us with some awesome words. So everyone have a great day. We look forward to seeing everyone next Thursday at 1 o'clock. Same bat time, same bat channel. Be blessed. And don't forget to like, share, and to be a blessing to someone who needs to hear from you. Be kind to everyone. Everybody have a great day. Thank you, Miss Lyons.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Melissa.
Bye, Warren. It was wonderful to meet you.
Thank you.